So, welcome to this workshop. There's a slight echo on. Do you know what? Now it's better. Yeah, perfect. So we had already the keynote speech of Emilia Stoimenova, and she introduced already the Smart Villages project. In this workshop, we will also talk about smart villages and smart communities, and the summit all around will be the Smart Era Horizon project. So I'm the moderator, and I will do a short presentation, which is not usually the case for moderators, but don't be afraid. It's really just a short introduction, also to give a framework to these four peoples, the four speakers. I will just introduce them later on. And also, I want to make this short introduction to show you a bit the Smart Era Horizon project framework, the concepts we are working on dealing with, and also concrete cases. So it's all interlinked, and I hope you will then also enjoy the survey, which we will do at the very end of this workshop, where we have some interactions with Mentimeter, and we also can have a short discussion on several aspects, points. You can then also ask the speakers after the interventions for some questions, some answers. You can ask questions, and then we will head on and see that we are on time. So I'm just moving forward. If this remote control, I think I'm too remote. Oh, yes. So concepts, smart villages. For many of you, this is already well known, but I want just to be sure that we have a common ground, what we are talking about. And when we're talking in Smart Era Horizon projects about smart transformation, we have two concepts in mind. It's the smart villages concept, and there we have the definition that smart villages are actually municipalities that work with or look for innovative solutions, and they're building on own strengths. So it's kind of a bottom-up approach, not a top-down approach, but a bottom-up approach. They're building on their own local strengths and opportunities. And what is very important, of course, is a participatory approach when working on that. And it's all for sustainable development. So improve economic, social, and environmental conditions. That's the aim of these concepts. And then, of course, we really have to take advantage of digital technologies. And what we thought yesterday will not be possible tomorrow is already reality. So it's really a big progress. And we are working a lot with cooperation and alliances. So it's a network of smart villages. This is one point. And we are integrating. These are now the smart villages, just to show you a bit what we were doing in smart villages. Also, the Smart Villages Interact project, we have these municipalities, and we've all around, we have different solutions for endeavors and challenges in these smart villages, like co-working spaces, mobility solutions, etc. So then the smart villages, they won't be anything without smart communities. They build on smart communities, the people behind. And smart communities are communities of people. They want to become the drivers of a change. So it's really their leitmotif in the future, for the future. And they want to innovate and learn, to do and inspire also to make the life of citizens better, of the whole village, of the region. But the difference to smart villages is really we don't have this territorial aspect. There are people grouping together with the same interest. Okay, so these are these two concepts which are kind of guiding us also through the Smart Era Horizon project. And the Smart Era Horizon project actually is led by Fondazione Bruno Kessler. We have Alessia with us. She's in the team of the lead partner. And we have many project partners among us. For example, University of Ljubljana, or the people here in front of us. So a very core issue of Smart Era Horizon projects are the smart innovation packages. So smart innovation packages are a set of smart solutions. They are in different categories at home: technical solutions, non-technical solutions, and business models and policies. They form one package at the end that helps to do a digital transformation in the rural space. So this is the core issue of the Smart Era Horizon projects. We have 6 test areas where we're developing these. And we have one test area among us, which is Partner Village with Dennis Goya. So this is just a model case, yes. What, for example, a smart innovation package sustainable mobility implies. You have this in the center, but then you need like a B structure. You need different solutions to come to achieve this solution at the end, this project at the end. So, and this package is slowly, gradually spreading, and it's like a mosaic. Every element is important. So you can see that's what we are heading for in our 6 test areas to find solutions in all these fields. So just to end, we have a task to fulfill within a Smart Era Horizon project, and this is the macro-regional exchange aspect. We are really trying to facilitate the exchange between the macro-regional strategies. You see them listed, the 4 macro-regional strategies. In Europe, we have Esa Kokkonen with us from the Baltic Sea region. And then, of course, Daria, you're also involved in the USALP macro-regional strategy. And so we are bringing them together. And we have done also, or we are doing at the moment, a comparative analysis to see where are these macro-regional strategies standing in point of view of implementation of smart villages, smart communities concepts. Yes, and then we will also try within the Smart Era Horizon project to implement brainstormings, workshops, to give an input for the definition of new macro-regional strategies priorities. And we would like also to have an impact, of course, on the EU policy level with our project. So this is a bit the introduction, the setting behind, and just as an overview for the next steps, we will have then, after my introduction, we have first Esa Kokkonen. He's the director of the Baltic Institute of Finland and also the coordinator of the priority area innovation of the EU Baltic strategy, Baltic Sea strategy. And then we have Dennis Goya. We have concrete cases then with the Patna village, a wonderful village close to this place. Yes, Dennis, you are very much involved into this work, but you also am a project manager of Središće Rotunda. And then we have Marina Balaik from the Living Lab Greenpoint, and Daria Kukovic from the DIH Agri-Food. So I'm looking forward for interesting inputs. As I said before, we will have some short time for questions and answers after every presentation, and then we will move on to a Mentimeter survey, because we are very much interested on your expectations and on your views on of macro-regional cooperation. And since this will also amend our comparative analysis work, so it's a very valuable input for us, and I hope for you too. So please, Esa, you will be the next speaker, and I just quickly check that the presentation is loaded.
Yes, good afternoon. Very happy to be here. Thanks, Peter, for excellent introduction for the project. And as representing one of the 4 macro-regional strategies of EU, the first one adopted already 2009, we are very happy to be part of the Smart Era project. And that's an example of a Horizon program project where also macro-regionals and macro-regional strategies serve as a framework for the development of smart villages, also as a policy priority, and also a framework for piloting and replication strategies. And we've been here actually in this event in Isola already a couple of days and discussing. Myself also attended a couple of sessions yesterday where we discussed between the macro-regional strategies on how we can increasingly work together and with this common policy framework we have in different European macro-regions. And funding, of course, big issue. We are using a lot of Interreg financing for the strategy-related activities in all 4 macro-regions. And we are discussing that how we can also strengthen the role and impact and relevance of the macro-regional strategies in EU policies in general and EU funding, so that this could be used and promoted increasingly also in other financing instruments than Interregs. And this I've always used this Smart Era as an example that it's possible, and I have to thank the lead partner, Bruno Kessler Foundation from Trento, Italy, the lead for this excellent initiative and leadership, and also helping us, the macro-regional strategy stakeholders, to use this as an example, as we want to have more of these kind of activities between Baltic Sea region and Adrian, Ionian Sea region, Alpine region. And for us, especially in EU strategy for the Baltic Sea region, we are currently updating our action plan, and we are focusing very much in local and regional level innovation policy and ecosystems in innovation actions in Baltic Sea region, and we want to strengthen this kind of a smart village approach, and anyway the opportunities of the strategy to serve our rural regions. We have very strong smart city agenda as EU in general. There are a lot of smart city policies on national level, of course, local level, and EU level. And in the Baltic Sea region, we understand that we are very sparsely populated regions with a lot of rural areas. So we definitely will, in our update, increasingly focus also on smart villages and try to extend our experiences from smart city actions increasingly in rural regions. And for that, Smart Era and this partnership and all the pilots are most attractive kind of a baseline material to be utilized as an example. But then for the actual topic of my presentation, so we are a partner in this project, especially focusing on that cross-macro-regional element of the project, including this kind of analysis of where do macro-regional strategies at the moment stand in their how much they are implementing smart villages related activities. It has a little survey already implemented, but then of course then with some study will be then further develop. But some preliminary results here from the. So it's very small number of course, people replying, but they are very relevant people who are policy area coordinators, action group coordinators, pillar coordinators who know their strategies and who know what's going on in the strategy related to smart villages. So, but anyway, small but very relevant group of people who have replied. Many of them from the Baltic Sea region. Even though for us we feel like we have most maybe most kind of a homework now in our update process to really focus directly and with a common approach with other macro-regional strategies in smart villages. So we are not actually talking so much directly about smart villages, but there are a lot of digitalization and or economic development or sustainable development related projects focusing on rural areas and smaller communities and villages. And then regarding how well are the macro-regional strategy stakeholders aware of the whole concept, so awareness is quite good, but still there are some who really don't know the concept, and it's new for them. Do I direct here or there? No. And the role is very important. That how important role the smart villages and communities as a priority should have in the macro-regional strategies. So there's a strong agreement, understanding that it really we should strengthen the role and the focus of macro-regional strategy activities for smart villages and communities. So 90% agreeing with that. And regarding the activities already implemented in macro-regional strategies, so they clearly concentrate on environmental sustainability, but then some other topics from governance to mobility also covered. Some examples of the activities from different macro regions here on economic development and diversification, the overall kind of a smart communities coordination in US ALP between the two action groups. In EU strategy for the Baltic Sea region, there are various projects, as mentioned, supporting smart village development in economic development context. Many of them under our policy area innovation, and also there's a lot of sustainable tourism related activities where smaller communities and rural areas are in focus. Social inclusion, some cultural focused activities in Baltic Sea region. As mentioned, environmental sustainability, most important topic. A lot of themes: local smart grids, expansion, climate change adaptation, nutrient recycling in the Baltic Sea region, some food sector related activities. On governance, on Danube strategy, on focusing on sustainability and resilience of rural areas in climate change context. And then, of course, Smart Era project, especially Danube strategy. Stakeholders played an important role in the also the initiation of the proposal. Some transversal topics in EU strategy for the Baltic Sea region. We have also policy area for spatial planning, and for them actually this is very relevant topic, and for us as policy area innovation. So focusing on local and regional level of innovation policy and activities. So for us, it's very much connected to the place-based topics and place-based innovation, where the context matters, and where the neighboring regions and countries share common location related and place related challenges, whether it's a maritime environment or climate issues. So spatial planning is actually very important, and regional development, very important context for our activities. And there we work closely with our policy area spatial planning. We have a special own strategy actually for spatial planning in the Baltic Sea region, this VASAP Vision 2040, and that somehow underlines that anyway the role of macro-regional strategies, that they are geographic areas which between the and where there are common challenges and common place-based issues to be tackled together between the neighbors. So, and this is when we, even though we are far away, we are the Baltic Sea region at the other end of Europe, but when we have the same kind of a context for our activities, it's an excellent starting point and basis for collaboration. So we already, like yesterday, we discussed about circular economy, and there are a lot of when we have a similar role in developing our macro regions, so we can also share a lot and learn from each other, and also somehow pool our resources and good practices, and open our challenges also to be tackled cross macro regionally. And I think this is what we should do much more, especially in the Baltic Sea region. We've been doing this kind of a macro regional collaboration for a long time already. In the current phase, since early 90s, like 20 years before the strategy, we are really strongly networked and well organized region. There are networks between cities and regions and even villages and NGOs, and there's so much between universities, so very, very much collaboration because neighbors need to collaborate. But we also are small countries far away from mainland Europe, so we are now a fully EU region, and where still they are quite young in general, in average quite young EU members. So we need to work hard to be increasingly connected to European networks and European value chain opportunities. And for this Smart Era is an excellent example of that kind of a project that we would increasingly like to do, not just working within the region. Some success factors here also underlining that, especially the role of the where macro-regional strategies can contribute. So where the stakeholder engagement, first of all, is something that we all focus on. That we want to make sure that we like in innovation, that we engage not just the usual suspects who have been doing the collaboration and running projects for a long time, but there are a lot of, especially when we talk about communities and cities and regions, so smaller municipalities. So this is something what is very important, that where macro-regional strategies can contribute. So they have a certain mandate and role to play. We have like steering groups, like in our policy area, where all the ministries responsible for innovation policy are represented, and we can use that opportunity and make sure that we more strongly engage different kinds of stakeholders, and in this case, especially increasingly smaller municipalities and rural areas, which are still in average not strongly enough represented in our activities. Then the second, the effective governance. So you need, especially when we work with the EU policies and financing instruments, we need to be effective in really making the utilization of these different EU instruments more accessible, attractive, and more effective, and with a better impact. And that's something we can influence through our steering groups, and we can also influence on financing programs. We can work together with them, like we can influence on how future Interreg programs will look like, or we can influence the mainstream operational programs in our countries and make sure that macro-regional context matters in those, and hopefully in post-27 period even more strongly than currently. And then collaboration. This is something that, especially with the common challenges and tackling them, the neighbors need to join forces. And when we talk about communities and people-centered activities, so our approach, this kind of a place-based approach, of course, underlines that we do it with a not top down, but it's very much based on the initiative and engagement, direct and ideas from the stakeholders themselves in regions. Some success elements I described here is underlining these key points where the macro-regional strategies can especially contribute effective governance to facilitate real change, and that improving policies and community engagement. Same from transport topics, engaging communities, people-driven activities. And then strong policy framework. So macro-regional strategies are one policy framework, and we are, of course, there's a new we are soon there's a new commission. There's a post-27 preparations are ongoing, so we need to make sure that we develop macro-regional strategies as relevant and stronger policy framework for the topics where especially macro-regional collaboration matters, and it's something that we have to do together, so that not just we do some. We have our own approach in the Baltics, and there's own approach here. I think we should increasingly work in this together. And again, this is projects like Smart Era, especially help in that. And where we have next week we will hear concrete examples, and this is something what we use especially as an input when we update our strategy action plan, for example. That the cases that are show that. Well, what can be done, and with EU funding and together in collaboration between partners from different other countries, and by them learning from each other. All right, so this is my contact information, and we are 3 coordinators altogether in policy innovation. We are the main coordinator, and then we have Estonian Ministry of Economic Affairs and Communications, especially focusing on digitalization related issues. It's a big priority for us, and of course very relevant kind of a key theme also in Smart Era. And then we have a Polish Ministry of Education and Science as a 3rd coordinator, and Poland is currently holds the presidency of our macro-regional strategy and also our policy area. But thanks a lot for the opportunity, and next we will go into concrete issues, and looking forward to good discussion.
Thank you, Esa, from the Baltic Sea macro-regional strategy. I want to mention also that the survey is still going on. Yes, we are looking for more answers. Some of you have already been approached. Also, Carlo, you have also replied, for example. So it's growing. It's not the newest figure. And what I wanted to mention also, of course, we will also amend this information with website information on the different macro-regional strategies, so that we have a working document end of, let's say, October, mid of November, for next steps. And what I also wanted to amend is that we will launch a call for project follower areas, test areas. And what we are doing now with this survey is also the base to check for priorities, and how could we design this call within the Smart Era Horizon project for followers, test areas, in the macro-regional perimeters. We will launch this call, or we will start preparing this call mid of next year. And So 6 areas, test areas, will have the opportunity to have a funding for developing smart villages initiatives. So this will be for sure also a next point when we will approach you for this call. So thank you very much, Esa, and we will just rightly continue with Dennis. As announced, some concrete measures, the very concrete project of Partner Village.
Of course. Thank you, Peter. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure for me to be here and to represent my village, small village, Padna. Is 200 inhabitants in this region, beautiful region. So we start, I think, 24 years ago. 24 years ago, but with some vision we put in how we want to develop the village. And with collaboration with Faculty of Tourism from Porto Roche, there was one answering list. There was this students come to the village and visit all the families and asking them about how they see the development of the village. And then we start, because we see that people want to develop, they want to be, to be part of a very active part of the municipality. So we are in municipality of Piran, who is a tourist municipality. So we see that we have good opportunities to just in tourism. So we are close, but we are far away. So we are a small hill, 200 and something meters, up to the level, sea level. And so then we make a straight cooperation with the Ministry of Agriculture from Ljubljana, with the Faculty of Architecture. So we measure all the village, and we see how we can reconstruct the old buildings who was devastating from the time and empty. And yes, we always think about to be part of the tourism products for have some apartments or something like that to bring benefit to the people, to the local people. So we involve from the beginning, so all the local people, like stakeholders, to express their things about what they think about. And yes, we are happy that we are now start in 2018 with smart villages, with the Faculty of Electrical Technology. And now we are in smart era. So every time Padna and Šmarje, Šmarje is a village close to Padna, but very close to each other, but different municipalities. So Šmarje is a municipality of Koper. So together with the straight collaboration with also in the workshops, we find out that we have a problem with sustainable mobility and sustainable tourism. We see this is our point of to try to solve some problems. And anyway, in all these years is going on, there are some. I think there was opportunity also to make contact with the these cruise ships who comes to Koper, and we are very active in this, and we have per year, for example, about 5,000-6,000 visitors from these ships. So this is also a big economical, I don't know, point of view for the local people. So we have this small farmers market, who has people say that is something unique in not just in this area but in Europe or world, and we're very happy for that. So we have very good reviews about that. So and in the village all the time we think about also sustainability. So cycling, we have also tourist info center with this electric e-bike, and we ran that. So it's one thing, and then we had this education of people also to be skilled about the digital technologies, because we see that also the digitalization or having high-speed internet in the village is big thing, because we see that the last few families who moved in Padna to live in Padna, there was the main point. They decided to buy the property because of high-speed internet. So it's very important. And this time I also saw forward that people who live in Padna, we wanted to give them knowledge about that. So we have about half of population who are mostly I know it's older years. We have 60% who is from 40 years up. So it is this problem for this kind of people, and I want to give them opportunity to know, just maybe some simple use of internet and this solution, digital. So we go up. So this Padna, Shmarje, a little bit. It's very nice. You have to visit us. And this this I always talk about not just smart village, but it's the community. It's very important. So this civil participation, all I don't know. Every question must be solved by them. Every problem you can solve with the people because they know how. All together we can find the solutions, and then maybe make a pressure to the municipality to solve the problem, or find the money for solve the problem. So this is very important. So also we take about we promote all this type of recycling. We use everything in wood and paper. For example, when we have these visitors from cruise ships. For example, today it was 3 buses in my village, about 100 persons, and also one local action group from Slovenia to see. They wanted to see how we manage this, how the people are involved in this kind of promotion. I think promotion of the villages in this area, because we promote not just Slovenia, we promote our local communities, but Slovenia also. Okay, services, yeah. So also we want to educate tourists about use water. For example, we have about 40 beds for tourists already in Padna who have 200 inhabitants. So these people enjoying to stay with us. When they, for example, when decided to come to Padna, they know that they come in a small village, and it's interesting that they want to feel like a member of the village, and they want to have this contact with the people. This is something amazing. So we know that we are good guests, so hosts. And that's it, and after we have good results. Oh, yeah. So we put a lot of point also in agriculture. So to have in the future, I think with digitalization of this, to have for the farmers, for the wine producers or olive producers, who is very, for us, it's very important, this kind of products, to have in these fields, to have these stations for humidity to see how is the process on these vineyards or olive to reduce the use of these phytopharmaceutical products for substances. And yes, also we put a lot of, so we have all the villages on the LED technology, the village and also our public houses, community center, you see. But the community center was also reconstructed by Patriotic, so in 2014, to make all reconstructions. It's heritage of Adriatic. And also we are very proud because there was I think eight projects in all Adriatic area, and we was one of them. So also for that. But I think this is smart community. I want that, it's something about us that be involved in everything. So be involved, be present, and maybe when I start talk about Padna, I'm mostly noisy sometimes, but it is like this. You have to, because if no, it's nothing happened. So we have a promotion about this. I think this is the smartest thing. These buses, they come through all municipality. They are always just for school for children, for schools, But they come from Piran to Padna all the time. So, and if you know that Piran is touristic area, so a lot of tourists see that, So it's invite people to the rural, Come and see. So this is a nice thing, and that's our, It's, I think, one short movie, 3 minutes now. To cover the network, what Thank you.
So, Dennis, Thank you very much for this presentation. And it's really amazing. It's such a small place, 200 inhabitants, and you can see how it's lively, how vivid it is. That's really smart. It's not only about technology, it's also about, it's as well the same amount of people engagement. I just want one short question. The smart communities, who are the people behind? So, of course, you are very much behind this development, but you have some people around, yeah.
I have this short, I don't know, short few of them who are close to me to help me, because without this community also, when we have these visitors, we was about 20 of us working on that, you know. Mm-hmm. So yes, you must have people around, and then we also press to we have to make pressure to our mayor or in the municipality of Piran, but he knows that we are active and we are one of the most developed villages, not just in this our municipality, but also in the region, all this region, you know. And so a lot of people wants to see how we reach this, but I mentioned from the beginning 24 years of work, starting in 2000.
Yeah. Okay. So it's gradually evolving.
I ran the local community from 2002, but before I was like president of one tourist association, a local one, so from the village, and we started then, and then you know, like local community, it was easier, but anyway, you have to make pressure to the municipality, but anyway, we collaborate with the ministry, with everyone, you know. So I also begin I start with in national level, also in 2000, because start with partner and then just in local level, so regional and then national level. So I'm active from 22 years, very active. So in all these sectors.
Okay.
So that's it. You know, but,
thank you very much.
But it's not the result come after, you know, after 10, 15 years. That's it, you know. In our case, it's the same.
Okay. Great. So we move on, or is there a question to that? So we just move on to Marina and her project Greenpoint. So Marina, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Hello, also from my side, I am Marina Balaitz, and I am a living lab manager in the Greenpoint. Greenpoint is the short food supply chain, and today I will present the topics from field to the plate, blockchain technology in a short food supply chain, so in the Pomoria and the Podravia region. How everything started in our Greenpoint. So in the year 2017, we was invited by the University of Maribor to become a pilot area in the Smart Villages project. So that was the part, because the same year we established the DAC Agri-Food, and they was supported us in the project and in our digital journey or digital growth in the Greenpoint. So then, together with the University of Maribor, we developed the blockchain system. That was the traceability system that farmers use. So we established one application where the farmers can put the data of their production, and they can put this data into the application, and the consumer, when they scan the QR code, they can see the origin of the project of the product. So yeah, so we will talk about this a little bit later. So then, in the year 2022, we was invited by the Innovation Technology Cluster to become a pilot area in the Smart Community project. And 5 years later, we established a living club that operated by me, and we established a community where we co-create and with our consumers, we are running the workshops with them to have with them to engage them about our local food, about our what we are doing, and to make our area more sustainable, digital, and they helping us in this way. So now we are having in our blockchain system around 15 farmers that are putting this information and into the blockchain application. The Green Point was funded by farmers around 10 years ago, and in our production we have a lot of different local products. So we are now have our own fields where we are producing the local products, like mostly the fresh vegetable and fruits. In our range of products, we also have 500 different types of local products. So now we are working with more than 100 local producers or food producers that are delivering us the fruits and vegetables, the local products. So our main goal is to delivering the fresh fruit and vegetable to all around the region, in Pomoria region. So we are delivering to the kindergartners, like the public institutions, like kindergartners, the Horeca sector, and other segments. So we are working like a living lab. So the Green Point is the most advanced and bigger short food supply chain in the region, in Pomoria region. Pomoria is bordering to the Austria, to the Hungary and Croatia, you know. And our goal is to achieving economically sustainable, socially responsible, and environmentally friendly businesses for all involved stakeholders. Our stakeholders mostly are NGOs, SMEs, and civil society, and consumers, farmers. I will talk about this a little bit later. So now in our Green Point, we are using two systems that we want to engage with our consumers. Now we are having this Block IS application that I said already, that farmers can put in their production data in the application, and the consumers can see the origin of the product. So they put the data when they grow their vegetable, and that consumer, when they come to our retail store in the Green Point, they can see the origin that is local, and that is from which field came for, and so on. And the second one is that we are working toward the zero food waste. So that's to do this, we implement one of the application, Circ Eco platform, and this is that or consumers or other institutions like schools or farmers can put in their food, like the vegetable or fruits that are before the expiry date, or that are maybe too much in there. Yeah, and they're putting this to the application, and they can sell these products from the best prices, so the lower prices. And then we, like Green Point, or maybe the farmers or others, can buy these products in the lower prices. In this way, we want to make the rural areas more sustainable, zero waste, like zero food waste, circularity, and economy models we want to implement, and like this. Also I'm going to talk about our role in the Smart Community project. So in the Smart Community project, we want to make the rural areas more digital and more sustainable. So to do this, we want to address the food production, like and distribution challenges, in Pumulia region. Today, to do this, we are also established living lab. No? So in this part, we are involving all the stakeholders and consumers to that they can help us to transform this. To this end, because we are working in the Green Point towards the zero food waste, we also working with another company which is called Hudo Dobro, and we are making from the surplus food we are making the fruit straps. So the fruit that is too much in our retail store, then we send to this company, and they are doing for us the fruit straps. So it's zero food waste, like zero vegetable, zero fruits. No? Yeah, so our key goals that we have in the Smart Community project that we want to enhancing the food system traceability, safety, and resilience, then to promote circularity, circular economy, to reduce food waste, like I said, to make the routes more greener, then encouraging sharing the best practices. And to do this, we are running the workshops, different workshops with our consumers, with farmers, and supporting the alternative food networks in the Pudrauia region. So we are working with a lot of stakeholders. They are working with us, and we have a lot of resources that we need. And here are helping us, or we have the support from the ITC, Innovation Technology Cluster, and the AgriFood. The AgriFood will, my colleague in Daria explain a little bit later after me. So together with them, we are going along the EU fundings and local partnerships. Also, we have the human resources and like this. So the stakeholders involved that are working with us are the local authorities and policymakers, like key ministries, chambers, development agencies, then academia, like universities, clusters, innovation hubs. Then the key factors are also like the farmers and companies for the production of food. And then the last one, civil society, like residents, consumers, then development centers, food banks, and others, a lot of others. So from my side, that's it. So now I'm giving the floor Daria Kukovic, and she will present the agri.
Thank you. But actually, I will continue because we are together. We are in one ecosystem, which is called Digital Innovation Hub AgriFood. I come from ITC cluster, Innovation Technology Cluster Murska Sobota, where I'm project manager, especially for this smart community project, for example. But otherwise, I'm also very much involved into this Digital Innovation Hub AgriFood, which was established at the same year when smart communities started. If you, some of you here in the room already know all the history, actually. And what is this Digital Innovation Hub AgriFood, and why AgriFood? Because of the rural flat area in Pomoria, it is most convenient to focus on this sector because a lot of business, a lot of opportunities arise from AgriFood. We are actually somehow, sorry, this is not the start. Our mission is to become one of the most advanced and digitized rural regions in Europe for this specific focus in food production and supply based on the cooperation of all actors. Today we talked about involving communities, different kind of stakeholders and similar. So to transform this food system. We are aware that we need to support farmers and also local SMEs differently. Why? Because we need to produce more food with, of course, less resources. But of course, always having behind that we have to think about environmental, economic, and social sustainability. So we have a lot of challenges here because farmers are different kinds, specific target group, food producers as well, but not only producers, also food processors, because there are a lot of opportunities also in this, like Marina said. There are a lot of new technologies that they are not aware. So IoT, Internet of Things, Industry 4.0 and Agriculture 4.0. There are a lot of trends in EU and also strategies and directives from European Commission which we all have to involve in this systemic approach. So there is a really complex system for one micro enterprise, for example, to understand. So we know that they need us, and we know that we need them because we would like to eat healthy and local food. So the answer was this digital innovation hub, which is one-stop shop providing services to these target groups such as farmers, food producers, associations, and similar. With the multi-actor approach, which was, I think, today already mentioned in some presentations. In 2022 or 22nd, we became a part of European Digital Innovation Hub, which was already presented in the first panel. So we are doing on 3 pillars. One is primary production, then supply chains, and of course gastronomy or tourism, let's say. We have a lot of services. I don't want to explain all of them now because there are too many, but maybe development and demo environment, which is particularly important for our clients because they can co-create and co-develop some solutions together with us. For example, one approach is Living Lab, which was presented by Marina, and the other one is demo farms. And on these demo farms, we are trying to support our clients, let's say farmers, directly with some applications, and also we would like to integrate them into our data space, which are developed by us of course, in the early stages. So demo farms represents a unique user-centered and place-based, already mentioned today, ecosystem which involves farmers, farmer advisors, solution providers, and scientists in co-design, testing, and demonstrate solutions on farms, of course, to enhance practices, accelerate technology adoption, and support policy development. We have 5 large groups of activities or services in this concept. One is the implementation of new technologies, of course, in the field. You said that you have some weather stations, right? In situ data and similar to control fields, and then you put this data through IoT system to the platforms, and then you can observe what is going on. And we, of course, we can then develop a lot of applications. Probably, we are not, for example, this is not our business model to be a commercial, but to develop non-commercial services for example, public advisors, because there are public, how to say, they're public. Yeah. Okay. Then we have a lot of digital platforms, as already explained, and different kind of tools. We would like to integrate farmers and other stakeholders into our data space, Digital Innovation Hub Agri-Food Data Space. I will explain a little bit more about this later. We would also like to raise knowledge and skills through this support services, awareness raising, demonstrations, and knowledge transfer. Of course, we are also supporting them with some knowledge or organization to find support and funds, of course. The last one is not our service or activity, but I would like to stress out that we already have 20 farms involved in this ecosystem of demo farms. There are some applications, maybe there are too in-depth for now. For example, Cirque on Blockis was already presented by Marina. They are also farm manager for these farm advisors. Then My Farm for individual farms, Field Book to optimize their equipment, for example, and then Benchmark to compare with similar farms. We also have collaboration and networking platform. It is actually a mapping tool where you can find more than 1,200 organizations, stakeholders, not all the organizations. There are universities, business support organizations, SMEs, and technology solution providers, and similar. So it's good because it's open, it's free, and it's a participatory based platform because it's based on facilitator approach. Okay, let me shortly say something about DIC AgriFood data space. This is a federally organized data sharing platform where data from this specific sector is shared based on predefined policies and rules defined by the governance model. This data management model is based on ethical principles and guidelines provided by the European Commission, not by us. So it's in line with the guidelines and ethical principles. These principles then guarantee that data owners are protected because data collection and sharing among all stakeholders is transparent. So this is the most important characteristics of data space. Long-term goal is to bring together actors across the entire agri-food system by this participatory multi-actor approach. Of course, supported by already mentioned data-driven IT platform to collect and use data from all across the sector and food chain, because we foresee the benefits, especially for the society, because it will lead to more sustainable, more resilient and transparent food systems, we believe, because the empowered stakeholders, in our opinion, are in the position to make more smarter, more sustainable, healthier, more personal and dietary food choices, for example. Of course, based on the data from environmental impact, data about the origins, nutrition, safety, and integrity. So confidently, I can say that the digital innovation of agri-food data space provides a secure sovereign system of agri-food data sharing in which all participants can release the full value of their data. Yeah, this is it. This is from my side. I would just like to expose, before in a small talk, we were talking that this is a story about 7 years, approximately. So this is what can be achieved in one working program, for example. This is what we were doing, of course, with dedicated people, like you all mentioned, engaged people, collaboration, funding opportunities, which should be combined with different funds, not, of course, macro-regional, but also research-oriented, like Horizon Europe, and maybe also some national. It would be beneficial also. Thank you.
So thank you, Daria, for this presentation. We have seen concrete examples how these smart innovation packages can look like. And over the macro-regional networks, we will spread these models. Actually, I think this is how smart transformation in rural spaces works. So it's really from vision to actions. And of course, we are also inspiring new visions, I would say, with these actions. So now we come to a small component that is more interactive and also in view of including also our online participants. I don't know how many they are, but we will see when we will also do the survey. So I just generated a Mentimeter survey. I hope it will work. And actually, with some questions, they are very much related to the ones we also addressed in the big survey in the comparative analysis. We will use these results also to amend our comparative analysis. So yes, please, it's already approaching. Present, yes. Okay. So all of you who have smartphones, and most probably 100%, you have internet access here, and you can join at menti.com with the code which is listed there, the survey. And then we did the first ones already achieved. Is it working? You see these slides? Okay, so you can start. We wonder how many macro-regional strategies are here present. Also, if there are different ones, you can also participate. So we have perhaps a, a wider outreach. Because I think many of you are most probably from USALP, but I see the first ones are even from other regions too. Yeah, great. So we have kind of a diversity. Very good. No others. No. Okay. So have all of you joined? We have 9. We have some more. Okay. So yes, we have a good representation of also from user. That's great. And of course, USALP, the Digital Alps Conference, Danube region, and Baltic Sea region, which is ESA. You have been spotted. Somebody else. Okay, great. Good. So let's move on. Could you go to the next slide? Just, yeah. Yeah, this is just to be more detailed also for our survey. So you could write here which policy area or priority area or pillar or action group. These terms are related to the different strategies. They have all these, the action groups, for example, is USAP, of course. And then we have pillars, I think, with user. You have, I'm not sure. So you can make responses here to which group you belong in your. And then I quickly make a picture. Yeah. This will be interesting for our survey, for the comparative analysis, so that we can relate a bit the results to the different questions. Okay, yes. Action group 5, AG5. Pillar 2, transport and energy. Okay, user pillar 2 is well represented. Dynamic strategy point. Okay. So we know who you are, and we can go ahead. I think it's fine. So just the next step. Okay. So you know now what, when we are talking about smart villages and smart communities, you know now what we are talking about. And we were one of the first answers are already there. Explanation is even not needed, perhaps. But you see there, we want to see in which category kind of you are involved with smart villages, smart community projects, if you have any. So we can see how they are a bit distributed. Economic development and diversification is it deals with entrepreneurial support or value chain support. Then social inclusion is access to services, for example. Then also demographic issues, well-being for elderly people, for example. Environmental sustainability, of course, natural resource management or renewable energies. Then governance, organizing policy structures, participation, and then, of course, mobility. These new technologies in mobility, which also Denis was, for example, mentioning in your smart innovation package, you want to deal also with smart mobility. Okay, good. It's also kind of a good distribution. We have a small lead in economic development and diversification. Then the others are almost equally spread. Okay, so we can go ahead, please. And here we have just the step before you mentioned different categories. Now we would even like to go a bit into details and ask about concrete activities. Perhaps you have projects in, for example, mobility projects. Could you mention them, perhaps, or just that we have more differentiated aspects on your categories? So if you would detail a bit on what are you working, for example, in environmental sustainability or mobility or social inclusion. You can mention there, for example, a project you're involved in, or a policy you are working on, or perhaps in your action plan, a specific goal. Or those not. I think most of you are related to a strategy, so macro-regional strategy. So, of course, online participants could also just mention other projects related to these categories. Okay. Development of implementation, performance, project master plans. Okay. Nevermore Horizon Europe projects. Okay. So innovation project, we make transition. Okay. And of course, the Smart Era project, yeah. Perhaps there are some more. Let's see. Yeah. HE Smart Era, Interact Open Space Smart Community. Okay, yeah. Good. Somebody still typing? Isa, you are writing a WhatsApp message? Okay, good. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, so I think we are fine. Yes? Good. Thank you for this collection. And then we just move. Yeah, actually, the key factors is I was already presenting from the survey some key factors. So we wanted to know from you what are your favorizing as key factors. What from your experience, what is most important to foster smart villages, smart communities. Okay. Fine. I think we are fine. We have a strong leadership in community engagement as a key factor. No wonder, yes, it's one of, as also already mentioned in the definition, it's very important to have the people on board to facilitate collaboration, participation. Then we have the policy frameworks, of course, and the collaboration among regions. That's what we are doing too. And access to technology is more like kind of a basement, and effective governance, a framework. So thank you for this. And we move on. This is actually the last slide as far as I know. We have here, you could write just some wishes, ideas, proposals, how the EU could, how the EU, the macro-regional strategies should better foster the development of smart villages. How could the EU actually assist, support the macro-regional strategies in better foster the development of smart villages? So, very long wishes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is, includes smart villages as a priority in MRS action plans. We are also doing lobbying for that. We had good exchanges also with EU there, representatives for the elaboration of their action plan. So we managed to also somehow include that. They are on the way of the approval of the action plan, but it's not yet approved as it's. And all the other macro-regional strategies, they have already this concept inherent integrated. Okay, again, cooperation is a very important issue. That's what was also mentioned in this morning sessions of the macro-regional strategies. Okay. Somebody's still typing, is it fine? Good, okay. So we have kind of many more responses to be added to our survey also, comparative analysis. Thank you for these amendments. And actually it gives a round picture also for our analysis. I'm very happy about this exchange. If you want to add something orally now, not by writing, you still have the opportunity to just make a statement, whatever. If you have something, or also a last question to the presenters. If not, we will already, I think, close the workshop here. Yeah, there is just one hand raised.
Hello, everyone. It's working. My name is Christina Hook, and I am from the Danube Strategy Point, acting as pillar officer. I just have a proposal for you because you mentioned the survey that it's still open. Maybe you would like to spread the news. You can send us the link of survey, and we can also spread it to our network, and maybe you get more replies, more answers.
Thank you for the readiness.
And one question, if I may, for all the participants, because I saw so many interesting things that you presented with all the application that networks created, the support for the local, for the communities, the involvement of local community. And what I would like to ask, what was the impact of macro-regional strategies on your activity, and how this developed and how this supported the progresses that you made during these years? Because you mentioned 2010, when the Danube strategy actually was issued, and the Baltic strategy was even 1 year before, and then other macro-regional strategies came out. So I'm curious how this impacted your activities and the development in the region. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, who wants to answer that? Daria?
Yeah, maybe I can start. As Marina, for example, explained, the initiative actually for smart villages came from EU SARP. They invited us to collaborate in this project proposal, so we started actually, it was actually a bottom-up approach. But this is actually the only macro-regional strategy that I was really close to. So I'm really not sure what about others that are involved in our case. In Slovenia, we are involved in Adrian, of course, like, and Danube and Central Europe and some others. But I'm not sure. Maybe there is another person who should answer. But yeah, in our case, it was EUSAT.
It's in our case, it was Alpine Space there in that smart villages. So we was invited like local community, and we joined that. So and from that the time, I think we start to collecting data. It's very important, collecting data for everything, for tourism, for traffic, for example. You know how much cars is and how speed they across the village. You know, so it's very important things. And the end now in smart era, it's very useful for having all that data. You know, so yeah, collecting data. We start in 2018, I think, in that period. Yeah.
So yes, for smart villages, it was the USALP. Both of them were involved in smart villages activities. And now with Smart Era, we have a consortium of 4 macro-regional strategies. And with this, we have funding for 6 pilot test areas. So we can really say it's much about projects. And that's also how cooperation works. So people from different areas are working together via projects, and that's where the funding comes. So I think this is a bit the solution. Lisa?
Yeah, and of course, I think that we somehow shouldn't take too much credit as such from the projects, but then because as you mentioned that, like, we are a good example in the Baltic Sea region that we are really active in cooperation, and we since 90s that there have been so much projects all implemented and happening and before the strategy, when we didn't have a strategy and we were still becoming an EU region. The EU was enlarging in north in 90s and early 2000, and most of the activities and projects were somehow connected with the enlargement or EU cooperation and EU funding. And then we realized that this is not effective, that there's a lot of overlaps and also somehow the impact and scaling up replication was limited. So we're jumping from one project to another. So the strategy role especially is that we try to already by influencing in the programs and by then also supporting the programs in the implementation to make sure that programs are a bit more strategic, and projects are, there's synergies, and there's also policy impact that we connect them to policymakers, and we connect project with each other. So this is something, and we can do, but of course we need to be known and visible so that the stakeholders can already, when they initiate projects, they can contact us and be part of that network and receive support.
Okay, thank you, Esa, for these final
More
statements. So the audience is increasing, right? So we have to stop here. We have to stop here to go ahead with the plenary. Okay, thank you, all of you, the participants, and also the speakers, of course, or especially speakers, for coming here and having your inputs. Thank you very much.